All right, y'all, it is finally time to talk about Kilimanjaro. I'm so excited. I have been trying to figure out how to share this experience. I have posted some reels and some pictures and things on Instagram and on YouTube, but I really wanted to make a longer video to share my experience and to kind of tell the story. So I'm definitely going to be sharing some of those pictures as I tell the story in this video, and also sharing some video as well. So buckle up for the journey, okay? So when I think about Mount Kilimanjaro, I honestly cannot remember when I first thought about climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. I really can't remember. I think, though, this is what I think. So in 2015, I did I think it was a 5-day trek to Machu Picchu in Peru. And before that time, I had never really thought about doing any kind of multi-day hiking adventure or mountain climbing or anything like that. I had been on hikes, I love to hike and I'm very adventurous. So I had done things like that before, but nothing that ever lasted multiple days. So Machu Picchu was my first time doing that, and I did that in 2015. And as you're traveling, you're in a group, you're with people who are from all over the world, and people are talking about their travels and their different experiences. And that was kind of the first time that I considered doing other hikes that went across multiple days. So I think when I finished Machu Picchu, I started to kind of, my mind had been expanded to the idea of that. And I think I started looking for other things to do. And then, Mount Kilimanjaro kind of popped up in my sphere. You know how when your mind is expanded to something, then all of a sudden you start seeing it all over the place? I love when that happens. So I found this company, and again, don't remember how I found them. I think they just kind of popped up on Instagram. This company called Kili Africa Tours, and I saw that they did, treks up the mountain, up Mount Kilimanjaro. And so I started looking into them, and I reached out to them at some point and expressed my interest, and they sent me some information, a pricing sheet and all of that stuff, and the options for going up the mountain, because there are actually 7 different routes you can take to get up the mountain. So that was around 2019. So I was planning to do this in 2020. I was planning for 2020. And we all know what happened in 2020. So that put my plans to a halt. That brought my plans to a halt. But I still wanted to do it. And I just didn't know when. And literally every year I'll be like, all right, God, is this the year? Is this the year that I'm doing Kilimanjaro? I still really want to do Kilimanjaro. I'm gonna do Kilimanjaro. Is this the year? So finally, last year, 2025, I was in New York. I was doing Gypsy on Broadway, and it popped up in my mind again. And from 2019, when I first reached out to this company, until last year, periodically they would reach out to me. Every few months they would say, are you ready for your climb? Are you ready to go up the mountain? You're welcome to come. And I would always respond and be like, I'm coming, I just don't know when. But it is on my list. It is on my list. So finally, last year rolled around. I was in New York doing Gypsy on Broadway, and it popped up again. And I was like, wait, I think I can go this year. So I was looking at dates, and I was thinking, well, I think I want to do it at the end of the year. I think I want to start 2026 on the mountain. And so I asked them to send me the details of the trek and how many days and the dates and all of that. And they had a group that they were planning to take up that would be on the mountain on January 1st. And I was like, that's the one that I want to do. Originally, when I was planning to do it in 2020, I was going to do it for my birthday, which is in October. But last year I was thinking about it, and I said, I think when I say Happy New Year, I want it to be on the mountain. So that's the option that I chose. So I flew to Tanzania. I left the US on December 29th. I arrived on December 30th, and my trek started on December 31st. So day one on the mountain was December 31st. They picked me up from my hotel. I made sure to get a really good night's sleep. They picked me up from my hotel. And in order to get to the starting point, because again, there are seven different routes you can take up the mountain, and they all start at different points on the mountain. So in order to get to our starting point for the Lemosho route, which is the route that I took, we had to drive for a bit, and we drove and we stopped in like a small shopping area to get like last minute things, snacks and whatever. And we get to the starting gate, and I have lunch, and we gather all the belongings. I make sure I have everything. I get, like I rented my sleeping bag, and I rented hiking poles. So we got those things. And then there's all this paperwork that they have to fill out, and all of these things that they have to do to make sure they know who's going up the mountain and who they're going with and what company they're using and all of that stuff. So we get to the starting point of the Lemosho route, and I'm just like buzzing, because I'm like, I can't believe this is really about to happen. Like I'm here, and I'm about to go up the mountain. So we are here. It's a bit cool. I've been given lunch to eat before we go up. I'm excited. Day one. From the time, so they picked me up at my hotel at like 9:30, and it's 12:30. So it took us about 3 hours to get here. It's a bit of a drive to get to the entrance, the Lemosho entrance. And we stopped at a small town to get food, and for the porter's food, and buy some snacks and go to the bathroom. And now they're gonna load up everything and pack up everything, and we're gonna go. But I'm gonna eat some food first. I've been informed that even if I'm not hungry, I should eat. Because as you go up in altitude, your appetite might decrease, so you won't feel hungry. But even if you don't feel hungry, you should still eat. So I'm gonna eat a little something and then put the rest in my bag. That's my guy, Frederick. That's my crew, and it's just me, guys. I'm the only person in my group. So this is gonna be fun. I get one-on-one treatment all the way up the mountain, but as you can see, there are other people, other groups, so it's not like you're alone. So yeah, the sun is starting to come back out a little bit. It's still a little cool though, so I have my jacket on. Day one was so beautiful. So you start in the jungle. I'm trying to make sure I have my thoughts straight, because I'm so excited. So you go through 5 different climate zones on the mountain, and you start at the lowest level, the ground, the lowest level, which is all like jungle. It's warm, and there's trees everywhere, and we saw monkeys and all kinds of beautiful birds. It's just like a beautiful it's a beautiful way to start. And the hike that you do on day one wasn't super long. I think from the starting point, from the entrance gate, the Lemosho gate, to our first spot where we were camping, it took us maybe 2.5 to 3 hours to get there. So it wasn't super long. It's warm, it's hot, it's humid, I'm sweating, like stopping for a little break. The sweat. The sweat is real. But we're doing a good job Are we doing a good job?
Very, very good.
Very, he says I'm doing very good.
Yeah.
Okay, I trust you. Woo, we're here. You know, it wasn't super challenging, but still it was like, okay, I'm hot, I'm warm. Okay, let me, slow down on this moment, or and it was really beautiful because there were so many different kinds of trees and so many different kinds of birds, and my guide was so excellent because he recognized, he would see things and I would be like, where? And he would point things out to me. So we saw different kind of monkeys and we saw different kind of birds and different kind of plants, and he knew the names of everything. Like, it was just amazing.
Get it closer.
Uh,
Not in this side.
this
Take
side?
the picture on this side.
Okay.
Yeah. And then tell me.
Oh, like an elephant.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is endemic here.
Yeah?
Yeah, we call it impatient Kilimanjarica.
Uh-huh.
Only found in Kilimanjaro.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the first night we get to our first gate, and they set up the tent where I'm gonna sleep, and I had a really good night's sleep on that. Well, actually I had an okay night's sleep. I found out later that they set up the tent and it was kind of on the ground at an angle, and you're supposed to sleep with your head at the highest angle. The angle was not I couldn't tell that there was like a slope, and I think I slept the wrong way, so that my head was actually slightly lower than my feet. So my sleep wasn't great. It was good, it was fine, it was enough, but it wasn't great. And then after the fact I found that out, and they were like, you're sleeping upside down. I didn't realize it. So you learn something new every day, right? So we get to the first campsite, we have dinner, we sleep, and then we wake up the next day for day 2. All right, we made it to our first camp. Do you see how sweaty I am? We made it to the first camp. My guide says I'm doing very well. We started at 10 till 2, so like 1:50, and it is a little after 4. So we made it in like 2.5 hours. He said at the beginning, it would be maybe 3 to 4 hours, and we did it in 2.5 hours. So we made really good time. He said that I was moving well. There was one point where he said I was moving too fast. So I was like, oh, okay. So we slowed down. So yes, this space is I mean, luxurious. That feels luxurious. So this is where I'll sleep. That's my bag, my day pack, and that's the bag that they brought up with all the rest of my stuff in it. And then this is where I'll sleep. I have a sleeping bag in that bag. And then I have like a little outer room, as you can see. And then a bunch of things to eat, or drink rather, and then we'll have dinner later. So that's it. Day 1, Kilimanjaro, 1 day down. Good morning, Happy New Year. It is a little after 6 a.m. on January 1st, 2026. Happy New Year. I slept in a couple of layers, as you can see. You can also hear the birds. The birds are birding, and I don't know what that is. I hope that's a bird. So I slept for a long time. I woke up a couple times during the night, but I was warm, and that's good. So they brought me some hot water for tea, which I'm gonna drink, brush my teeth, get ready to go, do all the things, pack my bags so they can carry them. All right, we're doing this. Happy New Year.
Climbing up the mountain.
So day 2. So we started off day 2 pretty early in the morning. We were still in the jungle and a lot of tree coverage. So it was kind of cool. And day 2 was one of the longest days because we were going from where we slept that first night, and we were actually skipping over one campsite to get to a third campsite. So the campsite we were skipping over was called Shira 1, and we were going to camp at Shira 2. So we started off in the morning. It was kind of cool. And you know, we still had the coverage of being in the jungle and, you know, the trees and everything. But not very quickly, but quickly enough, we got out in that sun and that warmth and that heat hit again. So then you're like shedding jackets, and you know, you're making sure that you're comfortable because the heat is picking up. Also, the vegetation was changing. The trees were not as big and as high. You know, the trees were much shorter. The vegetation was a lot different. Still a lot of beautiful trees, a lot of beautiful flowers, and amazing views. Like whenever we had a chance, we would stop and just kind of look out. And we there was one point where we got up to kind of a high point, and we were able to look out over where we had come so far, and it was just so beautiful, so green and so lush. The mountain is just gorgeous, and all of these changing climates and the changing vegetation is just really beautiful. So we went from our sleeping point to Shira 1, and that's where we stopped to have lunch. By the time we got to Shira 1, we had gone from jungle to, you know, jungle with huge trees and greenery and flowers and everything, and then we went into this area, and I can't remember what it's called. Can't remember exactly what it's called. One of the climate zones where everything was just really low to the ground, a lot of rocks, big boulders, colorful vegetation, but just lower, much lower to the ground, and it was really beautiful. So we get to Shira 1, we eat lunch, a nice hearty lunch, make sure I'm drinking enough water, go to the bathroom, do all of the things, and then we continue to Shira 2.
We are almost at Shira 2, which is where we will camp for the evening. This has been a very long and tiring day, and I can't wait to lay down. I can't wait. But we're making our way. It's cold too. We are in the midst of the cloud.
Y'all, by the time we got to Shira 2, your girl was exhausted, okay? Shira 2 took us over like boulders. I had to climb over boulders. And by the time we got to the camp, I was wiped. I was like, oh my gosh, I am so tired.
Oh, look, there's a beautiful sunset happening, but you can see the mountains in the distance. We had a lot of really beautiful views today. That's my tent where they make all of my food. And then they store water there. And then there's singing happening over there. So this is where a lot of people are camping tonight. And it's Happy New Year today. But yeah, it's really beautiful. Really beautiful. I'm sitting in my tent. They brought me popcorn, and I'm gonna have some tea. I love popcorn. So they're gonna bring my dinner at 7:30. At 7 o'clock, we'll have a briefing and talk about tomorrow. Then at 7:30, I'll eat dinner. Then I'll get a good night's sleep. And we'll start again tomorrow, day 3. Tomorrow will be a much shorter day. Only 6 kilometers, I think. I think that's what he said, 6 kilometers, so that's not long. They're singing. Now this day 2, well, night 2 into day 3 was the first day
that I actually saw the mountain. And let me tell you how it happened. I woke up in the middle of the night to go pee, because that's what happens when you're drinking a lot of water on a mountain, is you got a lot of bathroom visits. So I woke up in the middle of the night. It was maybe 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning, pitch black, but the sky was so clear. And it was the clearest sky we had had up to that point. And I unzipped my tent and I'm stumbling out. I got my little headlamp on so I can see where I'm going. And I look up and the mountain is right in front of me. And it was so clear. The sky was so clear and so crisp. And I was like, it literally took my breath away because it was so beautiful and you could see the snow on top of it. And I look up at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, there's the mountain. That's the mountain. It made me really, really excited. I was already excited up to that point, but that moment really got me going because it was the first time I was actually seeing the full mountain without clouds, hiding it, I just remember being so excited in that moment and so invigorated, and also like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna get all the way up there? Like, it just was massive. It was just massive. And this was only day 2, okay? It was massive, but it was so beautiful. And the view was so amazing. And I took a picture of it and it doesn't do it any justice. But that was such a pivotal moment in the hike for me, to really finally be able to see the fullness of the mountain against the night sky. It was just amazing. It was just amazing. Guys, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I woke up to go to the bathroom and you can finally see the mountain. We haven't been able to see it this whole time because it's been cloudy, but oh my gosh, look at that. How amazing is that? It's so beautiful. The sky is so clear right now, which hopefully means we'll have sunlight tomorrow because it's cold. So I really want some sunlight because it's freezing cold. And that's my tent. Look at the moon. Oh my gosh. You can see the moon and the stars. Wow. Look at that. Oh my gosh, look at that. Wow. Wow. Okay, so day 3. Day 3 was a shorter day, but it was just so, I keep saying this and I'm gonna keep saying this, it was just so beautiful. The mountain is gorgeous. It just is. You're hiking through all these different climate zones, and with the changing climates come changing vegetation, changing animals, different bird sounds, different flowers, different trees, different boulders, different shrubs, different bushes, different everything. So day 3 was just gorgeous. So we did what they called an acclimation or an acclimatization hike. I'm not sure which one of those is right. But basically the gist of it is you hike up to a higher point than where you're going to sleep. And the goal of that is to give your body time to acclimate to the altitude, because as you go up in altitude, the air is getting thinner, different things are happening in your body. They're testing your oxygen levels in your blood. They're checking to make sure you don't feel nauseous, you don't have a headache, you haven't vomited, you don't have diarrhea, all of these things that would be signs of altitude sickness. They're checking to make sure that you're okay. So if you hike high and then sleep low, once you get to the higher point, your body has had time, or your body has time to adjust at that higher altitude. And then you can go to a lower point and sleep so that your sleep is more comfortable. So hiking up to the high point, which was called Lava Tower, it was like this huge rock, this huge, a bunch of rocks. We hiked up to this area. The area is called Lava Tower, and it was so cold up there. It was so cold. And again, the haze rolled in once again. So we had fog. We couldn't see the mountain. You know, it was a challenge. It was a beautiful challenge. But it was nice because it was cool. And so cool getting colder. So you weren't sweating as much. Now you're dealing with how your body adjusts to the dropping temperature. So we hiked up to Lava Tower. We had lunch there. We relaxed there a little bit. And I don't remember having any issues there. I didn't have a headache. Well, I may have had a slight headache, but I wasn't nauseous. I wasn't sleepy. I didn't have shortness of breath or anything like that. So I was doing well. And all along, my guide kept telling me, he was like, you're doing well, you're doing well. I'm like, all right, I believe you. If you're telling me, I believe you. So we get to Lava Tower. We relax a little bit. We have some lunch. I think I may have taken a small nap. I don't remember. And then from there, you go, and it's an immediate downward incline. It's like immediately you go down from that high point from Lava Tower. So we hiked down. We had to climb over, once again, here we go, climbing over boulders and rocks to hike down. But it was really, really cool. And again, very, very beautiful. At this point, it's just like, it's not a lot of vegetation. It's just boulders, and a little bit of vegetation, but not nearly as much as we had seen before. And it was hazy, but you know, another beautiful day. And I felt really invigorated that day because I had seen the mountain the night before and I had slept really, really well. So I felt really invigorated and really energized on day 3. All right, we are leaving the Lava Tower. It is freezing cold, as you can see. We're going to our next camp. Should be about 2 hours. And we went up in altitude to acclimate, and now we're gonna go down and we will sleep at the next camp. Pole pole, slowly, slowly. Here we go. All right, day 3. Our first stop is Lava Tower. Jumbo. First stop is Lava Tower. We hiked up steadily for like, I think 600 meters. And now we're coming down into this very, I mean, it looks like a lava field. That's what it looks like. It's beautiful. There are other people. Jumbo. We came across all those rocks. And then that ridge over there is, there's another trail called Machame. And we will meet up with the Machame route. We kind of converge. So I'm on the Lemosho route, and we will converge with the Machame route. And we saw some people over there earlier, so, and we will continue. Day 3. These trees are beautiful. Apparently they were in The Lion King, the live action remake. They came here to film some parts of that, and these trees were featured. So that's cotton inside of there. That's crazy. And these trees never shed their leaves. So every leaf is 25 years. And also, you know that you're near water if you see these trees, because they are always near a water source. And you hear the water. And this is the tree from The Lion King.